Buenas, buenas. Welcome to Music Marketing TV. I'm Kevin Ochoa, and today I'm gonna bring you a video, as you probably see in the title, about how to install FL Studio, how to get it up and running, how to make some beats with it, and I'm also gonna show you how to load some third-party samples and VST's instruments and effects onto FL Studio. Now, I recently had to reset my whole computer, so for the next couple days or weeks, probably, I'll just be doing videos on setting up different music marketing software and installing it and all that type of things. Okay. Now, when you're going to install FL Studio, of course, you're going to need to access it from the internet. What we're going to do is we're going to go to imageline.com. Okay. Because those are the developers, the people who build FL Studio. Now, FL Studio is available to download here. I think I'm logged into my account right now, but on your end, it's gonna just ask you if you want to create an account, and if so, go ahead and do it. And then it's gonna ask you if you want to download the demo. Go ahead and download it. So I'm gonna download the FL Studio for Mac because I'm using a Mac right now. It's gonna take a few minutes to download, depending on your internet. But check this out. This is what's great about FL Studio. When you're going to use it, you have access to all the features, absolutely all of them. You can even render tracks out. You can even save the project. The only thing you can't do is open that project again. So there's a music production legend out there that says that a lot of Skrillex' early music when he was building songs, I think he was using FL Studio, and he would be using the demo version, and he'd just be making the whole song and leaving his computer on for days and then exporting the song out because he could save the song, but he couldn't open up the project again. But, I think it's a really good trade-off because you get access to all the plugins and all the software within FL, and as you'll see, it's a lot of stuff. Okay, so I'm going to open up this file, which was in my downloads, and it says install FL Studio. Oops, let's close this down. Install FL Studio package. We're going to go ahead and do so. It's going to ask me to allow the program to run. I'm going to press continue. Okay, it's going to check if I'm on the right operating system and all those type of things. It's going to ask me for my password. And then, boom, it's going to start installing the files. Again, it might take a few minutes depending on your system. Right now, it's going to be pretty decently quick. And anytime you're installing audio software, music software, usually you have to download lots of things, especially if you're downloading big sample packs. You unfortunately have to wait a bit. But here we go. It doesn't take too long. I'm going to move this to the trash. And now what you'll see is when you go to your apps, you're going to have FL Studio right there. So I'm going to click on that and open up FL Studio for the first time. And boom, there you go. We have FL. It's going to ask me if I want to use a loop starter, chord progression, and all these type of things, right? If you have not logged in, it's also going to ask you when to log into your ImageOn account. Okay, for now, I'm just going to press, hold on, before I go there, let's click on new stuff. So the new stuff project right there is basically a demo project that ImageOn wants to share with you, so you can kind of see how to work with FL Studio. And you'll see here that you have your channel rack with a bunch of different slots and numbers, and these connect to the mixer, and I'll show you that later. And then you have a playlist, which is kind of where you arrange your track. You can kind of see that there's recordings here. If you press Command and scroll wheel, you can zoom in and out, and then you see these little patterns here with these little lines, and I'll show you what they are in a second. So yeah, I'm not going to press play here because we might get copyright striked, but there you go. You can use this project to kind of learn how to use FL. But we're going to do this using a template. So we're going to go to basic with limiter, and I'm not going to save any changes to this project. And right here, I have a kick, a clap, a hi-hat, and a snare loaded, right? And then a sampler from Flex. Now I'm just going to add a Edison here onto my last slot on my master mixer channel, just so I can record what's going on inside of FL Studio and share with you guys. So I'm going to press record here on input. And now you guys are going to be able to hear when I hit a note right here, or a clap, or a hi-hat, or the snare. Okay. Now these are sampler channels, right? These are where some sounds live. And the way you can start making your beats is by clicking these little points right here, these little dots. And then you can even add swing to your beat if you move this right here, right? So if I have this every 2 steps, instead of having the beat all straight, it's a little bit swingy. It moves a little bit. Okay, so you have this little beat going, and you can paste it over here on the browser, and from there you can actually start arranging it a little bit. If you come over here to the pattern, you can right click on it and select split by channel. And now these are me split into different instruments. And let me show you. So let me just clear these out over here by right clicking, left clicking, and pressing Command and drag to delete them, and then pressing delete. But here we go. We have our snare, our kick, our clap, and the hi-hat. And now I can just left click on them and use the brush tool, which is the default. I keep calling it the brush tool, but it's called the paint tool actually. Sorry. But basically, when you press B, you can select anything and then just brush it onto your timeline. And let me just zoom in properly. Another thing you'll notice, if you start brushing and things are not aligned, you're going to want to turn this snap to grid on. And so to, let's say, let's do a beat on this time. So now when you brush things in, they're going to be nice and tight right there. Okay. So there you go. We're starting to create this little beat and a little arrangement. Oh, I accidentally deleted that. I'm gonna again press Command, left click and drag to select these, and then I'm gonna press Command and B. And this way I can duplicate anything that I have here in the playlist. And at the end of the last bar, I'm gonna remove the kicks, and then I'm gonna zoom in here and grab the clip from the left hand side and then drag it over here. I'm gonna left click on it, and then I'm gonna use a brush tool to paint it over here. So now this is gonna loop over and over again. And there we go. We're starting to have like this little beat going around. Now, what if I wanted to add like melodic instruments, like a bass or like some chords and whatnot? All I really have to do is press this plus button right here, right click on it, and you see here that I have different instruments. I'm going to go with, let's do citrus. I really like citrus. And then I'm gonna press Command and T. And now you can use your keyboard to play notes. Okay, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. If you don't have a keyboard, you could go ahead and do that. And now what I'll do is I'm gonna press F4 after deselecting the Command T. Press F4, and that's gonna allow me to make a new pattern. I'm gonna call this bass. And you'll notice here that this is not a bass sound. This is more like a synth, right? So I'm going to click right here on presets, and I'm going to go to bass. And from here, I can click through different sounds. So I think I like this one. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to right click on that sound right here, that citrus instrument, right click on it and select piano roll. And now the piano roll is going to open up, and this is where you type in notes. And then we'll press L to change from the song mode to pattern mode. And then I'm gonna select my notes and then press Command and down to make them go down the octave. Cool. I'm gonna come over here to the left-hand side and make the browser go away. The browser is where you search for samples and different things. I'll show you guys in a second, but don't worry about it right now. So we're working on this little baseline thing, but we're like, that sounds a little too happy. So I can come over here and change this to be in, let's say, a minor scale. So let's do minor natural Aeolian. And now the shaded keys are going to change, right? They're no longer going to be the black keys. They're going to be something different. And now I can move this key that's shaded down over here. And now this should sound a little different. It's not as happy as it was before, okay? And you'll notice here that you also can't accidentally put this on the wrong note now, because it's helping you put your scale into, or put your notes in a proper scale, okay? Okay, now I'm gonna move these a little bit around and change them a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to loop them right here. And then I think the bass is a little too deep still. So what I'll do is I'm going to go back into my notes here, or my scale, and instead of having it be in the root note of C, I'm going to change it to, let's say, G, for example. And now these are still kind of in scale, but I'm going to press Command A to select all the notes, and I'm going to move them to G. Okay, cool. So now let's play this back with the rest of the track by going back to the playlist, which is F5, or if you go up here, you can just click on it, and then I'm going to brush that loop in, that bass loop in. Okay, then I'm going to go back and press L so I can go back into song mode. And you notice that the swing is affecting absolutely everything. So you might want to bring that down a little bit. Or you can alternatively go into the settings here from your instrument into miscellaneous functions and switch the swing here itself. Now let's say I'm not that happy with the sound, and I can change it even more. I can do, let's say, bass. Let's go to a different one. Let's see, synth. Okay, I'm going to show you maybe in another video how to synthesize things, but I just wanted to change this a little bit. Okay, now so far this bass line is coming straight to the master output track that I have, and I want to change it and add effects to it. So I'm going to go right here to the target mixer track and change it to maybe 5 or 6. And you'll notice that it's super loud. So what I want to do is bring it down a little bit and start doing a little bit of mixing, And now what I want to do is add an effect to it to give it like a pumping effect. So I'm going to use a growth speed. Now the growth speed is like basically a volume and time manipulator. So right there I was playing with the volume, but if you change the timing, it's going to be a little bit funny. So this could be something cool to experiment with. Okay. Now, what I want to do though is have it like give it like a pumping effect. So I'm gonna go to momentary, and there should be a sidechain preset in here. Yeah, there we go. So now there's a little space for my kick drum to come in and give it a little punch to the track. Now let's say I wanted to add some reverb to like the clap. I can go to the clap track, which is insert 2. I'm going to press command and left click to solo it. And I'm going to go to slot 1, right click, and select reverb or type reverb. Okay, I'm going to go back to the track or insert and then press command left click again to unsolo it. Okay, now it's sounding a little better. Now let's say I wanted to change this last clap pattern right here at the 8th bar. I'm going to press left click and then make unique. So now this pattern is going to be named differently, and I'm going to be able to change that pattern specifically without affecting all the other patterns. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the clap, right click and select piano roll, and I'm going to left click and click that back in. And maybe I can change the velocity here to not make it as loud. And then what I'll do is I'll mute the snare on this last bar, or that last bar right here. So where's my snare? I'm going to mute them, remove them. And then I'm gonna select the clap by left clicking, and then delete this one by right clicking, and then pasting it right there. Okay. Okay, so now you get a feel of how the program kind of works and how to add effects, how to move MIDI patterns around and make them unique and change them a little bit. Okay, you also kind of understand how to add notes and whatnot. So let's say you wanted to add an effect, an audio effect. Well, inside FL Studio, there's quite a bit of effects included. You go here to packs. Again, I went to the browser, and if you go to packs, you can go to SFX, which are the sound effects. And they come with these effects already built into the program. Okay. Now, if I play this back, this is going to be very loud. So what I want to do is I'll go to the clip itself, and then you'll see that there's a little node that appears, like a little button. And then you're going to click on it, left click, and then drag it down to change the volume on it. I'm going to make it really quiet first so you don't really hear it. And then if I want to make it louder, I can just push it higher. And now you can tell it's a bit too much, so I'll bring it back down a bit, maybe around 12-ish, 14-ish. Now you notice that my channel rack kind of changed a little bit, and now it says audio right here. Before it was under unsorted, and then when we added that clip, it went send us to audio, right? However, if we want to see everything, we can click on all, and we can see all the instruments that we have and all the sounds as samples and all the automation clips, which I'll show you what they are in a second. Now, this noisy crash, it doesn't have a track, right? So I'm going to left click here, drag it into track number 7, and now it's going to be in my mixture. And now I can add even more effects onto here. Let's say I wanted to add another reverb on there to make it sound even bigger. And there you go. Just give it a low cut in here. Sweet. And now I can place this around anywhere I want. So I'll put it on the loop right there again. Okay, now let's try to add some keys on here. So I'm going to press right click right here on the plus button, and then I'm going to select Flex. Flex is a pretty cool sampler, sampler-based instrument that has lots of sounds. Like I mentioned earlier, sometimes you're going to have to download things around, and this is one of the cases where you do. So you're going to click right here on Core Bass, Synth Wave right here, and if you go, let's say to around here, there's different keys and whatnot. These do require subscription, but if you go to library, you'll see that there's a lot of free stuff in here already. So just make sure you download Core Pianos. And I had done this earlier in a different installation that I did, but there you go. You have the Core Pianos, the Core Winds, guitars, general MIDI, electronic and melodic instruments, obeyed stuff, seamless stuff, and yeah, you got a good sense of different traditional instruments, like physical instruments like guitars, pianos, strings, and whatnot, and also electronic instruments. For now, let's go to Core Pianos, and let's look for a piano, like a right electric piano, and press Command T so I can play the keys. Cool. I like this one. Let's try this electric 80s. That's also pretty cool. What about this one? Piano mix. Let's see. So that's more like acoustic piano, and I do like the Steinway Grand, the Steinway D as well. Yeah, please excuse me playing. I'm a pretty bad player, and then on top of this, I'm playing on this. Please excuse me. Anyway, let's go with the electric piano. I think I like that one. I think it was a good blend between the electric piano bright and the electric 80s. And now what I'll do again is I'll press F4 to create a new pattern, and it's called this piano keys. Okay, I'm gonna put it on the piano roll, and then I'm gonna go here to the bars. See where the numbers are? I'm gonna right click and drag to create a loop. So now this part right here of the song is gonna loop over and over again instead of playing the whole thing through. And now when I press notes in here, they're gonna start looping with the rest of the song. I'm gonna close the browser. Okay. Okay, now for this one, I do want to change it. Okay, now if I wanted to do something a little bit more rhythmic, I could also go right here and do some little stabs in there. Okay, let's cut this off a little bit sooner though. And let's say you wanted these piano hits to go along with the clap. You could have them, not these ones. You could have them cut off right there. You could even have them sustain a little bit longer and then end with this second clap right here. This one would have to end a little bit sooner though. And let's give it a mixer track now. Let's go put it on 8. Now let's say my piano's not really cutting in the mix. Okay, I can go to slot 1, right click on it, And then what I'll do is two things. I'm going to open up a transient processor. This is going to allow the sound to be a little more clicky. And an EQ. Actually, I put the EQ before the transient processor. So I'll do parametric EQ2. Gonna make this a little clicky. Then press Command F12 to it's supposed to only close the parametric EQ. I don't know why it closed everything. But anyway, let's open everything back up. All right, let's go. Let's play this with the rest of the track now. And the growth speed's going a little bit off. I don't know why it's doing that. Pretty cool. All right. And now let me show you one thing that's going to help you a little bit. Let's say you wanted to make this audio unique like we did earlier with the pattern. I can right click and select make unique. And now I can go to its properties, its settings by double clicking on the audio clip itself. And then I can change like different settings like reversing it, swapping the stereo channels, adding distortion and different effects. In this case, I just want to reverse it to close it up and play it right before this other sound effect comes in. I'm gonna press Option to make it go off grid. And then I'm gonna make it go all the way to the end of the bar. Okay, and now this is gonna be reversed. Pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna press Command S to save this, and you'll see that it's gonna save inside FL Studio projects. Let's call this demo project 1. Okay, now the next thing I want to show you, as I mentioned earlier, was how to add third-party samples, VST Instruments, and VST Effects to FL Studio. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm gonna go to my website to show you how to download stuff and load it into FL Studio. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Safari. We're going to go to kevinochoa.com. Okay. And then we're going to go to Samples. And then let's click on Free 808s Volume 1. Okay. I'm just going to add this to my cards and then check out. Okay, and then I'm just gonna put a bogus email here. Please don't do this. Putting a bogus email, I would be very sad. Anyway, let's do Jose. Let's do Jose. Address. The first thing that pops up. All right, cool. Complete order. Okay, and then you're gonna get a download link. Usually this is how different websites are gonna work, where you're gonna purchase something and then you're gonna get a download link. Okay, and I'm going to click on download now. Okay, and now we can exit out of here. And in here, you're going to see all these different samples. Of course, if I play them back, you're not going to be able to hear them because I can't really record right now with from the computer straight right now. But what we'll do is we're going to grab this from the downloads. So it's going to be under downloads. And press Command C to copy it. I'm going to go to music. And now what I suggest for you to do is make a folder where you keep all your samples in. So I'm going to right click here and select new folder. And I'm going to call this samples. And then I'm going to double click there and press Command V to paste this there. And it's there. You can see all the samples there, including the cover art I made for it. Now I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to go back into a file. And if I go to the browser, what you see is that there's really no samples folder here. And there's no obvious way to put stuff in there besides dragging and dropping into a file, which you can do. But what I want you to do is go to options and go to file settings. And from here, we can add that folder that we made within the music folder, samples right there. That's the folder we created. And we'll press open. And now this is going to add this into my browser. Okay. So now it appeared here. And now whatever packs that I put into my samples folder, they're all going to appear here and I'm going to have access to them. So let me start recording with Edison again, just so we can capture all the audio. Yeah, there you go. So those are some 808s, okay, that I made freely available. You can go get them. So they're here, and now I can just drag and drop them into my playlist. Let's say I wanted to put this at the very end for some reason, and just fade it out. So when the track ends, you're gonna get hit with an 808 at the end. Okay. If we had made a trap beat, this would have been a better example. But anyway, there you go. So that's how you load up third-party samples. You could, of course, also replace the sounds from here. Let's say I wanted to put one of these other kicks in here. Let's do a kick that's a little bit higher pitched. Let's see, is there anything in G? G sharp is good enough. Okay. Let's make this shorter though, and then I'm gonna make the envelope really short. And I'll probably do another video on how to use these things right here. Okay, so now my kick was replaced by this one, okay? Let's make that a little more quiet. And if I want to pitch it a little bit lower, I can do that too. Just change it to be lower in pitch. So there we go. We added some third-party samples into FL Studio. And now let's go on and show you how to do that with VST Instruments. So let's go back to Safari. And just go to Google. And let's see, let's go to yuhei.com. Let's go to Yuhei. And the reason I want to go to Yuhei, this is really hard to find actually. Hold on. Why is it so difficult to get to? Hold on, yuhei.com. .com. There we go. The reason I wanted to go to Yuhi is because they got free stuff. So you got the Zebralet, Podolsky Triple Cheats, Betseal CM, Zebra CM, Terrell N6, Protoverb, Zebralet Legacy. So let's go ahead and install Podolsky in this case. Let's download Podolsky, and then let's download the Protoverb, just so we can get an effect in here as well. Okay. So let's minimize this. Let's go to our downloads. Okay, let me just trash these right here. Boom. So let's open up Podolsky installer. Okay, and usually there's a README guide to install things. Go ahead and do so. And let's click on here to install, and then we're gonna press continue, continue, agree, agree. Okay. There you go. Installed, close, and just trash this. And let's go to Protoverb and install Protoverb. Okay. And here you see different types of formats. For FL Studio, we don't need to have the audio unit installed, so you can disable that. But I'm probably going to need it if I'm going to use like a video editing software like Final Cut Pro, because that's an Apple software, so I'll keep it in there. But if you are not going to use Logic or Final Cut Pro, disable this to save a ton of memory later down the road. Because right now this is 14 megabytes, but let's say you install 1,000 plugins in your system. 14 times 1,000, that's gonna be 14 gigabytes, man. That's a lot of data. So you don't want to have that turned on if you don't need to. Okay, let's press continue and install. Okay, and let's see where we're at now. Okay, close. Perfect. And let's delete this. Okay, cool. So now going back to FL Studio, let's hit the fresh browser. And if I go to plugins, you'll see that I have effects, and under effects, nothing's going to be there that's, not new. That's new. The same thing if I go to the plugins, nothing new is going to be here. And if I go to my effects, again, nothing new is going to be here. You're not going to see it. Actually, I recorded this twice, so you do see Protoverb in there. My bad. But I'll show you with the Podolsky. So if you right-click right here, you're not going to see Podolsky, right? If I type in Podolsky, you're not going to see Podolsky, right? So what you're going to want to do is go to more plugins, and again, you do see Protoverb because I had installed that earlier, a different attempt to record this. But if I look for Podolsky, it's not there. Not there at all. So what I want to do is I'll right-click right here on my plugins under the browser and click refresh fast scan. And this is really useful when you have just one or two plugins that you installed recently, because it's going to scan really quickly. Okay. And then when I go back to installed generators and go to new, you're going to see that there's going to be Podolsky in here. Where is it? Podolsky right there. Podolsky's right there. So now when I go back in here, you're still not going to see Podolsky. So what's going on? So this view right here, when you right click on the channel rack or when you right click on the mixture, this is kind of like your favorites view. This is not all the plugins you have installed. You manually have to come and add your favorites into here. And I'm going to show you how to do just that. So I'm going to drag Podolsky from the plugin list over here into the channel rack. And now you have Podolsky right here. Okay, Podolsky is just a synthesizer. If I press Command T, you see it's just a synth with different controls over filters and stuff like that. Okay, now let's say I want to add this to my favorites. I'm going to minimize the installed view. I'm going to go to generators, and in here, I can finally left click on the Podolsky on the menu right here, next to the menu right here. See the little triangle? You're going to left click on there and select add to plugin database and flag as favorite. Okay. And now when I refresh this right here, Podolsky is going to pop up right there under my generators. So now I no longer have to add Podolsky like I added it earlier. I can now just right click right here and I have Podolsky right there, right? I can type Podolsky and press enter and it's there. Boom. Sweet. Awesome. So this is really good. Okay. But if you start making this list extremely long, it's not going to look nice, right? You want to have things a little bit more organized. So what I suggest for you to do is come in here, right click and select open under system. And in here, you're going to create a new folder and call it VST third party. Okay. Or VST Instruments third party. Okay. Something like that. And spell party properly. Okay. And now we're going to drag the Podolsky in here. Okay. Let's refresh the browser and set a file again. And now the Podolsky is going to be housed inside of this folder. Okay. So now you can kind of see that all the other FL plugins are in their own little folders, and your Podolsky is going to be nicely organized. Pretty nice. And again, if I go over here, if I go to third-party instruments, now you can start building your little library of third-party instruments. And again, right now it might seem like, oh, I don't want to do that. It's a little bit too much work. But later down the road, a year, 2 years down the road, you're going to be thanking yourself that you did this. Okay. So now I showed you how to add your third-party samples, your third-party instruments, your third-party effects. Awesome. Let's put the protoverb on the clap and remove that reverb that we had. So let's add the protoverb. And now adding third-party VST effects and instruments is going to be the same as we have with the stock FL plugins. So there we go. We have that in there. Let's say we wanted to add like a little ARP with Podolsky. You know how in the FL Studio plugins, when I went over here, I can change the different presets. Well, with third-party plugins, it's always going to be a little different. In this case, inside Podolsky, there's a presets tab right here, and then you have the very nice UHA preset folder. Okay, now all of them are going to be this nice, but they're all going to be different. So let's say we want to load an ARP. We can get to this ARP pretty quickly. Damn, sorry. I'm so sorry. It's so loud. Finally, something nice and smooth. All right, let's go with that one. Okay, so I'm going to press F4 to make a new pattern. We're going to label this ARP. Okay. And I'll just put it on G to make our life easier. Okay. And then we're going to give it a mixer track. Let's call it mixer track 10. Bring it down a little bit, and then I'm going to use a grow speed again. And I'm going to go to the sidechain preset. Oh, not that one though. I think under momentary. Yeah, that one. And now I do need to place this on the playlist, so let's go ahead and put it at the intro and then right here as well. And I probably want to pitch this up a little bit higher. Very pretty. I like that. All right, let's go back. Let's make this a bit more extended, and then we'll remove the kick from all these parts right here. Hold on. And we'll also remove this right here. And yeah, let's keep it like that. And then we'll put the crashes in here. Sorry, every time I move something, I think it triggers the grow speed to be a bit off. Let's try this right here, okay? And then after we play this, we're gonna render it, and then I'm gonna show you what it's gonna look like before and after. I'm so sorry, I just had to do that one more time. Hold on. There we go. That's it. Okay, let's play from the beginning. All right, that was pretty great for the first time using FL Studio here. All right. All right, let's save this one more time. I'm gonna go ahead, right click over here and drag to highlight this part of the arrangement that I want to render. Because what I want to do now is share this song that we theoretically finished and share it with the world. Okay, let's go to File, Export, WAV file. Okay, and it's called Project Demo 1. Save it. I'm gonna go ahead and select 32-bit, just because I know I'm clipping. I'll explain why later in the video. But if you are gonna distribute this, you're gonna want to put 24-bit. Okay. I actually have a limiter on here, so I can leave it at 24-bit. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna press Start, and now this is gonna render it 24-bit WAV file. Okay. And depending on how many plugins you have and how long your session is, this might be a lot longer to wait. There we go. Done. Let's go ahead and bring this into here. Start recording again with Edison. And if I go to the project, if I refresh it, if I go to project data, you're going to see here that I have the FOP and the WAV file. We can drag that in here. And I'm going to disable the emphasizer limiter that was on the master bus. And there we go. There's our track in all its glory. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. You see? It's there. Let's play back. Awesome. All right. So, like I said, this is going to be, if I go to project data, if I go to system here, put in parent folder, there we go. It's a WAV file. So you can go ahead and distribute it now, upload it to SoundCloud, upload it to Spotify, share it with your friends, and all that. Brilliant. Okay. That's it for the video. It's a long video, but hopefully by now you understand how to use FL Studio, how to program some beats in there, how to write some melodies, and also how to load some third-party samples, VST Instruments and VST Effects into FL, and really incorporate them in your workflow, right? Because I showed you how to load them into your favorites and give them pictures and all that, and have easy access to them. And I think a lot of tutorials kind of gloss over that, and you don't really find how to do that till like half a year in or a year into using FL Studio. And by that time, you're going to realize I could have saved so much time if I had just done this from the beginning. So there you go. Trying to help you guys out a little bit. All right, one more bonus trick before I completely forget about it. Okay, if you go to File, Export, and export this as a zipped loop package. Let me go ahead and do that. It's going to save it as a package where it contains all the samples and all the things that you use to make your project. And this thing you can share with your friends, okay? Or your collaborators, if you guys are not friends with your collaborators. Anyway, so here I have the FOP, which is the project I have, the WAV file, and the zip loop package, which if you open up, I'm just going to open it with the archive utility. You'll see here that it has my FOP and all the samples that I use in my project, okay? So that way you can easily share your projects with your mates and your friends. Now I'm going to go ahead and upload this to my website and share it with you guys. Again, my website is kevinochoa.com, and I'll upload it here as a free download for you guys to have access to, and you guys can continue working with this and learning a bit from the project. All right, thank you guys for watching. I'd like to, thank you guys for being here with us for this long. It's a 4-hour video, but I know that you guys appreciated it and you learned a lot because using FL Studio for the first time can be pretty daunting, but little by little, you guys will get the hang of it. If you guys want to stay tuned with all the future content we have here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave us a like, that helps us out a lot, and also ring the notification so you can stay up to date with all the content we have as it's being uploaded. If you have any comments or questions, suggestions for future videos, leave in the comment section down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Once again, I'm Kevin Ochoa with Music Marketing TV, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.